What's up guys, Chris here from securitybros, back with another review video, and today I will take a closer look at a cheap 5 megapixel dome camera branded Gadinan. Is it any good? Let's find out. It's been a while now since I reviewed a dome camera here on the channel, so when I was searching top selling security cameras on AliExpress, I found this camera and it looked like a decent camera with many good reviews. So I decided to buy and test one out just to see if it's worth buying or not. And the camera I got is branded Gadinan, which I never heard of before, but I've seen this camera being sold under many other brand names as well. So after a few days of testing this IP camera, I think it's a okay camera considering the low price, but maybe not the best camera if you're new to IP cameras and just want one or two cameras that are quick and easy to set up, since this is not the most user-friendly camera out there and it doesn't support SD card, so you can't use it as a standalone camera. You will need to set up some kind of storage for the camera, for example a NVR. Another thing that I spent a lot of time with that I couldn't figure out was how to get the camera to record audio locally using the web interface. The recordings are saved as H.265 files, which I couldn't even find a player for. And after I converted the files to MP4, trying with both FFmpeg and Handbrake, there were no audio, only the video. It records audio just fine when I, for example, use iSpy, since it saves the files in MP4. It's just those H.265 files that seems to be missing audio. Image quality isn't the best I've seen from a 5 megapixel camera, but I still think it's acceptable for most situations, unless you need really sharp image quality to identify a person from a distance, for example. At the moment the camera sells for $38 on AliExpress, including shipping, and if you're interested in buying this camera, you will find my affiliate links in the video description below with the most updated prices. So the camera uses a 5 megapixel sensor that records in 2592 by 1944 at 20 frames per second, and the camera I got uses a 2.8mm lens with a viewing angle of 85 degrees. And I got the POE version of this camera, but they also sell a cheaper one without POE. And the camera supports face detection, but that only works when used together with their own brand NVR, so I didn't test that. You can use the camera with an app called XMI and get instant push notification on your smartphone and view live or record manually to your phone. But since the camera doesn't have a SD card, you can't watch playbacks or alarm clips in the app. It supports OnVIF, so you should be able to use this camera with most brands' NVRs or software that supports OnVIF. And I did connect it to iSpy using OnVIF and that worked just fine. It also supports FTP, email alarm and RTSP. For night vision it uses 15 infrared LEDs with a distance up to 25 meters. Unfortunately there was a lot of ghosting at night when someone was walking in front of the camera. And the camera is IP66 rated, which means it's weatherproof, so there shouldn't be any problem placing the camera outdoors. And the build quality feels good, the body is all made of metal. So to connect to the camera we first need to change the default IP address, which is 192.168.1.10, to one that will work within your network. And there are a few ways we can do that. We can download and use their CMS to change the IP address. I also tried SADP tool, which allowed me to change the IP address. And if you don't want to download and install a program on your computer, you can also change the computer's IP address temporarily to a similar one to the camera, and that way access it through a web browser and then change the IP address in the web interface. And to do that we go to Network Connections, select your network and click Properties. Select Internet Protocol version 4 and then click Properties. Use the following IP address. And since we know the camera's default IP address is 192.168.1.10, we need to use a similar one. So for example we can use 192.168.1.11. Click OK and now we should be able to access the camera by typing the IP address in a web browser. In here we can change the IP address to one that will work within your network. Okay, so there are too many settings to go over one by one, so I will just quickly show them all to you. And if there is a settings that you're more interested in, you can always pause the video at any time. Okay, let's have a look at some recordings. Here we have daytime at the highest image quality, but unfortunately there is no audio. And here I am at around 10 meters from the camera. Here's another daytime clip when a car drives by. And this is at nighttime, but not in complete darkness, since there is a street light just across the street. And another short nighttime clip. Alright guys, thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, why not hit that subscribe button? See you in the next one.